In this week's episode, we go to Wayne Rooney's 40th birthday celebrations. There's a look back at United's deserved win over Brighton. Another Manchester United legend is placed in the Fergie's Gum Hall of Fame. And there's another load of questions to be answered in the Gummers mailbag. All this and much more on Fergie's Gum, a Manchester United podcast. Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gum. My name's Nathan Irvine and I'm joined by a full house of Mr. Paul Cropper, Ethan Chiquetta, and sneaking in at the back post at the last minute, Ahmad Daher. He's here, everyone. So we've got a full house. How are we all doing? How are we doing, lads?
Oh,
Fantastic.
Good. Oh, good.
All right.
Feeling good.
All right.
Recently.
Yeah,
Good,
feeling
good.
happy.
Excellent, excellent. Before we do unpack all of that, bit of a personal, weird thing to talk about, but it's not every day that you find yourself at Wayne Rooney's 40th birthday party, which I did last Friday, which was a surreal experience, which I thought it might be just worth recounting here on the podcast. But yeah, I ended up going down there to Wayne Rooney's 40th birthday party, or surprise birthday party, at Jumeirah Beach Hotel. He's there doing coaching for kids at Football Escapes.
Okay.
Me and Ahmad saw him on the Wednesday, didn't we? We went to the Q&A with him, which was very good. And then I went back on the Friday to have a little stalk of him, if you will. But he had a little birthday surprise that they'd arranged for him, that Rio Ferdinand had arranged. So before he actually got to where he was training all the kids, there was like a big a polystyrene football set up on a stage. Happy birthday, Wayne. The kids gave him a guard of honour, all like chanting Rooney, Rooney as he was like walking up. And then he walked up, and then obviously Rio burst out of this football to congratulate him on his birthday, presented him with a cake. And it was really nice. It was a nice little touch. But I was stood alongside and chatting to Phil Jones and Johnny Evans, who'd made the journey over. So it was quite a Manchester United loving down there at the Jumeirah Beach Hotel. So I just thought I'd share that. It was interesting. I had a little chat with all of them. Got my shirt signed by Wazza.
Nice.
Wished him a happy birthday and had a little picture taken with him. So that was nice.
That's nice.
Little
Mixing it with the stars, Nathan, aren't you? Mixing it with the stars.
Loves it.
I'll tell you what I will say. Phil Jones and Johnny Evans still look like they could probably do a job. Like they were in good nick. They were in very good nick. So yeah, maybe they could.
Phil Jones's knees haven't been in good nick for the last 15 years, Nathan. So question that.
That is true, but he was
unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. But he's I don't even know what Phil Jones is doing now, apart from organising footballers' birthday parties, I guess.
He's a coach in the academy at United.
Is he? There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Good.
I appreciate that update, Ahmad. Thank you. I wish I knew that at the time. I would have had a chat with him about it. Right. Anyway, that's enough of my nonsense. The most important thing that we're going to talk about today is this.
Brought down by Casemiro. Casemiro through to Cunha. Cunha strikes it home. And if you're not going to get a penalty, you might as well score one like that. Given away again, Casemiro on the edge of the D. He's going to get a right foot shot away. Big deflection. Casemiro scores again this season for Manchester United. Doubles their lead in front of the scoreboard end. Sesko with a lovely turn. And he's got the ball away to Brian and Mbumo. And Mbumo at the Stretford end. Brian Mbumo does it again for Manchester United. Brighton, Aidan Heaven, going to fight this back. Brian Mbumo in the penalty area, finishes it off. No nerves now. Brian Mbumo smashes home at the Stretford end for his 5th of the season and seals all 3 points. United 4, Brighton 2.
Manchester United 4, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. It was a little bit more nervy than that score suggests. But you was there, Paul. You was there.
Yeah.
How was it from the stands? How did you see that performance from Manchester United?
Same as a lot of the other games have gone this season. Started off really well. Good performance though, to be fair. So
we do start games just going at them, and it's brilliant to see, like we used to back in the day. A lot of individual good performances. The atmosphere again at Old Trafford. They've, I don't know if you know this, they've moved a few sections around, so there's standing sections around, and it seems to be when you get there, each bouncing. I don't know if it comes from the telly. I said this last time, but when you're there, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you can sense that right, we're going to get out of these. This is brilliant. And the noise level was brilliant. Everyone was excited. I think we all felt like this was a game we need to win, going off the back of the Liverpool game. And the individual performances, the two guys in particular, I think everybody spoke about, Cunha and Mbeumo, they've taken us to a different level, attacking-wise. They really have. The link up with Sesko, the link up with Ahmad, and they're making those lads go to another level as well. So all round, good performance. Like you say, it was nervy at the end. Whether or not it should have been, it needed to be, I don't know, because there was instances where we had more chances. We should have had a penalty, in my opinion, which I wasn't sure at the game if it was a penalty or not. Watching it back, it's a definite penalty for me. But the referee was giving us nothing for about 10, 15 minutes, and the Old Trafford was on his back. All round, though, good performance. Just try and keep it going now.
I think one of the biggest things for that performance was that they, even though there was a bit of adversity, leading 3-0, seeing that lead being cut to 3-2, that they still carried on playing. It wasn't like they sat back and tried to defend. They were trying to get forward. And that assist from Bruno, I think he deserves to have it next to his name in FPL. That assist from Bruno, where we just left the ball after seeing Mbeumo coming round the back, I thought that was amazing. It must have been split loyalties for you though, Ethan, because you're actually from Brighton, aren't you?
Yeah, grew up there. But I'm happy that Welbeck got a goal. To be fair.
Love scoring against United,
yeah.
that lad.
He's got he's scored more goals against United than any other team, which is crazy.
It's
scored
just
7 goals.
vengeance. He just wants revenge every single time. But what did you think of the performance?
I think this was a really big game. Because Chelsea, all the time we played Chelsea, it's like one of those games. And then we go, the major one people talk about is Liverpool, but Liverpool more like a derby. United last season we played, we went to Etihad, 2-1 against City, went on to lose 5 games of the bounce. So for this game was really big to kind of like, to see where we are like, with the Amarin system. I think he was a bit more pragmatic, even like just tweaking a little bit. I loved how, for me, the man of the match was De Ligt. De Ligt and Shaw had a beautiful game. Had such a lovely game. The way they were just following they're following the runners into midfield. Ruta and Welbeck didn't get a sniff. It was just like a beautiful game. But in my opinion, it's, I think, the appointment of Lamens in goals. We're now going more direct. Before it was more, playing to the wings, and then it was one of those playing through the wing backs, and then as soon as the wing backs get the ball, there's a defender on them, then we have to play back and recycle. But now Lamens just putting it up to the top, giving it to Sesko. Sesko's holder plays amazing. And can we just talk about that dummy by Bruno? Oh my word. Oh my word. That
It was good.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah.
It was very good. So good we can talk about it twice. But yeah, it was definitely like a pass that when you look at it, obviously when you're watching at the game, I'm guessing, Paul, you didn't even notice it. You didn't even notice what was going on TV. First pass, I was like, yeah, it is.
It
what
looked like
it
it
is.
just broke through, and then Mbeumo got onto the end of it. Yeah,
exactly. But then when it was like slowed down and it shows him, head on a swivel, notices Mbeumo coming around behind, and it's like, right, okay, just leave it. Aiden Heaven gets an assist, his first assist ever for Manchester United, which was fantastic. But just going back to what Ethan was saying there, Ahmad, it did look, we are going more direct, but it also looked like we were playing a slightly different formation. It was the 3-5-2 that we were playing, but 3 whatever the
4.
bloody thing is. 3? Is it
3,
5?
4.
Are we doing 4 in midfield and then 3-4-3? Whatever that
Yeah.
formation was, it looks like it was transforming into a 4-4-2 at times.
Yeah. I think I started, probably you guys also, we started noticing this ever since the Sunderland game. So after the Brentford game, after we got beat 3-1, I think he felt something has to change. I don't know, like about this is why whenever he's asked about the system and they're telling him about 5 at the back, 3 at the back, he has to always like say it's not about the system, it's not about the system. But yeah, like I noticed even again, like against Sunderland, it was Mount and Sesko up front, being the first two to press, and then like 2 lines of 4, which is nice to see because that shows that we're adaptable, we're flexible, and that Amram isn't as stubborn as everyone says. So it's not about the system, and he always said that the system is gonna evolve with time, but he just needs to go through those little steps. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was very interesting to see.
Yeah. One thing that listeners will I'm going to let them in like behind the scenes here. I taught Paul how to use press a button to say that you want to talk, and I know for a fact he's just going to spam it this entire time. So we were all
Sorry,
having a
Ahmad.
little laugh. There was a wry smile on all of our faces when immediately the first person to use this new tool was Paul. But I'm gonna go to you now, mate. What would you like to say? Obviously.
So I just wanted to use the button, to be fair. No, sorry, Ahmad. I've got it in my notes to talk about the 4-4-2 because I put it in the chat then after it looks like a 4-4-2, and it was tactically, obviously you can see it a little bit better when you're there. And I don't think a lot of other people on things that I've listened to actually picked up on it. But the 4-4-2 actually went, I don't think it's off the back of the Chelsea game as well, where Sesko flipped the ball on to Mbeumo. So when the keeper gets the ball, when he's going direct, it goes to a 4-4-2 then. So Sesko and Mbeumo end up as your 2 forwards. Cunha tucked in on the left as the left midfielder. Ahmad went to the right midfielder. Bruno and Casemiro in the middle. And then Dalot moved into left back. Shaw went to the left centre half. And then Lenny Orrell went to right back. So on the pitch, you're like, wow, it's a 4-4-2. But then as soon as that attacking movements happened, it straight away changes again. And it's fascinating to see. It really is. That'll take so much work on the training ground. No wonder it's took him how many months to get the players used to, because I've never seen that before. It's not something I've seen around Europe being done. I'm sure people have. Not something that's ever been highlighted. And also, Ethan mentioned it earlier where at times De Ligt and Luke Shaw, they press so high up. They were the furthest forward, and you're like, where's he going? Because that's not something watching the Premier League football you're used to seeing. And I'm sure De Ligt feels uncomfortable doing it, but he's being told, you press high there. And then once again, Dalot then tucked into the left back and Luke Shaw then tucked in. And it really fascinating to see. And it's something that other managers will pick up on. Hopefully it's something that once that gets picked up on, they'll change it again then. But yeah, really, really good to see.
I think Ahmad mentioned that like maybe a few weeks ago, the last time he was on the podcast, about the fact that midfield needs to be covered by the defenders stepping up and being brave. And I think that's ever since then. I don't know whether you messaged Ruben Amorim straight after we did the podcast, mate, but ever since you mentioned it, he has been doing that, which is good to see because it obviously releases Bruno Fernandes to be able to do what he does. It gives Casemiro a bit more support because he can't last the full 90 minutes anymore. But just like I wanted to talk about the individuals of the game as well. Matthias Cunha, obviously, we were getting close to the 0010, were we, for that game? Which is it's a ridiculous thing that the kids come up with. But Ahmad, how happy was you with Cunha's goal?
Yeah, I was so happy because I know it's silly, these things like the 007, and now they're coming up with Ben 10. If you go like 10 games without scoring, so it's Ben 10 now, just updating. But yeah, like it's just so silly, and I don't think he was being talked about as much by even like in general, like on the media or whatever, that he hasn't been scoring or assisting, because everyone was watching how good he was in all the games that he's been playing. So you can just tell, whatever, it was just a matter of time. It was gonna come. But he oozes quality, Cunha. I love him. Like, I've been talking about him for, I don't know, like 2 seasons now. Whenever I watch him, this guy, I think you remember, we always used to talk about him, that if United want to progress, he's the first name to get, because he can take you to that next level. You would skip a few steps in the process if you get someone like Cunha. He can do everything. Like, he can hold up the ball, he can link up play, he can score, he can assist. He also tracks back, and yeah, he's amazing. I think he's my favorite player. Like, it's a tough between him and Buemo, but like, I think for me, Cunha is something else.
It's interesting that you obviously they were both summer signings, Matthias Cunha and Brighton Mbeumo. I think probably all Manchester United fans thought Cunha was the one that was going to be the step above. Brighton Mbeumo was good at Brentford and was probably going to add another dimension from the wing, but he has emerged from that shadow from Matthias Cunha to be like a real goal-scoring threat. His first touch is outstanding. The way that he can roll defenders is really good as well. I did not realise we was buying such a world-class striker when we got Mbeumo, but he's been fantastic. Like, Ethan, what do you think of him? Has he surprised you at all in terms of what he offers Manchester United going forward?
No, I'm not surprised by Mbeumo at all. Before he came to United, he was a clutch player. FPL, always. You knew you had to have him in your team. But I think for me, it was the first few games, you could tell that there was a player there. Now he's added scoring, and he's got no weak foot. He's got no weak foot. And one thing I really like about him is he tracks back, he defends. When Ahmad goes up, sometimes you can find him. I think there's one point in the game where you're finding back defended, and that could also be due to like the system that Amram is deploying right now. But Ahmed's really surprised me. He's able to hold up the ball, and in front of goal he's gonna score. It's just I don't know, just the way he plays. It's just just a good player. I like him. Yeah, I like him. It's a good buy.
I think the other thing with all the summer signings that we brought in, there was a very interesting thing. Like, we'll talk about Lamans in a second, but there was a quote from Gary Neville after the game, Paul, where he was basically describing Sesko as someone that he's not convinced by yet. Now, the language I thought was very strange for him to even mention that, because he got an assist and he looked decent, like with what he was doing. Nothing spectacular, but he was linking play nicely. Now, compare and contrast that to how he spoke about Victor Gyokeres at Arsenal, who, has he scored in the league? Has he scored a goal in the league, or has he scored against Leeds, I think? But he's not been great at all. And like, G Nev kind of gave him this weird little eulogy almost about, he's a useful battering ram. He's got he didn't say he's got massive issues or goal scoring problems, but he's a useful battering ram, and he'll take Arsenal to the next level. I found it a bit strange. I don't know what you thought about that comments.
Typical Gary Neville. Anything he talks about United, he's never really positive about it. There's always an if or a but about it with United, and it has been for years. And I don't know whether he's always trying to be the other way instead of being biased, or I've no idea. Going back to the Sesko point, though, you wouldn't swap Sesko for Gyokeres, would you? I don't think
Absolutely
anybody in
not.
the right mind would. And when you watch him, he's the target man that we needed for years. So you can't put them down direct balls up to Højlund, as we've seen. But it doesn't stick, and the ball sticks with him. His first touch is good. He backs into players. He's a physical presence. You need that in the Premier League, and with his age, his ability, able to bring other players in, he's going to start, and he's going to be a star player for United for years. Sesko, class.
What did you think of Lamans' attempt at saving that free kick? Because I thought he should have saved it. I know it was hit with pace, but it felt like it was quite down the middle. And I don't want to be like focusing on negatives because I thought he played well in general. But should he have done more with that?
Yeah, nah, that's what I said as soon as I saw it go in. Like the replays, he should have saved it. It was down the middle, and uh, don't get me started on the ref, because like this ref,
Yeah.
is he Scouse? Like, 'cause, I don't know.
He
I
is,
was here.
yeah. He is. Could you not tell by the chants
Exactly.
at
Yeah,
Old
that's
Trafford?
yeah. I heard something like that. But I
Yeah.
mean, how? First of all, it's not a foul. Second of all, why would you like? He gave it, I think, like 15 meters ahead of where it was.
Yeah.
So
With
yeah,
Dorgu, yeah.
yeah. I don't get
Yeah.
it. But yeah, like on Lemons, he should have saved it. I'm not gonna be too hard on him because he's been amazing, honestly. Like he's even against Brighton, just even the simple saves, just catching the ball, giving his defenders time to breathe, giving the players time to like get up the pitch, coming out for crosses. But he should have saved it. I don't know if it was maybe because it was very high, like it was like like towards the roof of the net almost. I'm sure he's gonna get better at that. We've seen like I wouldn't worry about that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. I think what he does give to this Manchester United team is like a lot more confidence. Once they know that they've got a goalkeeper behind them that can do the necessary things. Do you know what I mean? Like you didn't know what Onana was going to do. You didn't know if Bayern was going to let it go underneath him. And I think as when you're a defender and you've got that reliability behind you, I think that kind of oozes forward into the players that are playing in front of him. Paul's hit the button again to say something, so I'll go to him now.
Sorry, that's gonna do your head in. That can you hit it, delete it on my thing? I just wanted to pick the point with the goalkeeper. He doesn't move his feet quick enough. It's
Yeah.
Positionally wise, he's right, but he doesn't move his feet enough to get across, and it's something he'll have to work on that because that'll be something that other opposition will pick up on as well, moving his feet. But he'll know himself that he should have saved that. But like Ahmad mentioned, them catching the ball, etc., was very good. I wanted to mention before we move on from the game because I got the feel. I just wanted to mention the drop off with the substitutions.
And literally, that's my next point. Well, that was literally my
Right,
next
okay,
point to talk
brilliant.
about before we finish. But
Okay.
we're on the same
Yeah.
page with that. So let's
Good.
do it right now. So
Yeah.
Xerxes, Ugarte, Dorgu, Mainu, and Heaven came on, who we talked about before, who said that he got an assist, his first assist for Manchester United. Yes, the quality, in my opinion, dropped off when they came on. Xerxes was at fault for the goal. You could argue, I mean, Dorgu probably should have been sent off. If it's a foul, he should have been sent off. Didn't do great. I thought I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I thought Ugarte and Mainu started poorly when they came on, like players that had just come off the bench, as you expect them to be. But I thought they grew into the game as time progressed. And there was a lovely tackle from Heaven as well early on that got rid of a bit of a moment of danger. But Ethan, when you was looking at that game and those substitutions came on, obviously they were all on the pitch when it went to 3-2. Did you feel it as well? Did you feel that there was a drop in quality there?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a complete drop. And, a lot of times, like people blame Amarim for, the system or this and this. But generally, the drop off, I completely blame the players. Because at 3-0 up, or 3-1 up, Amarim is entitled to bring in the subs, to close out the game. But it's just hold the ball. Just keep the ball. That's all we need to do,
To be honest, though, one criticism that I did have about those substitutions that were made, whether it was their fault or not, is that it was almost like a clear sign of Ruben saying the game's done. It's 3-0, it's done. Which I guess, you have to have that type of confidence in the substitutes that you're bringing on because they need to be able to know that, we're bringing you on to do a job. So whoever comes on should be coming on to do a job. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think they failed him. Paul, you was in the ground. Were there groans when those players came on, or was it just like did you just take it in stride?
Not particularly groans. It was just more of noticeably the level dropped off. the standards seem to drop off. I don't know if it's not easy to come on as a substitute, to be fair, in any game when you're 3 up. But if you're coming on, you should be thinking, I'm going to do a job here. And if I can see it, other people have to see it as well. And it's also Brighton, when they made their changes, they seem to get better. So it's probably both for the other things. So the substitutes work. I think it just highlights that the level in the squad isn't up to scratch as of yet. So I think maybe we should curb I've been seeing things of United getting top 4, United getting top 6. Just curb all of our enthusiasm for where we're going. Let's still aim for the top 8, because that squad is noticeably weak. Let's put it this way, there's not many of the same level as Cunha and Mbeumo in that squad.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The one last thing that I wanted to talk about, Ahmad, Carlos Baleba. Are you still a believer? Are you still thinking that he'll come in and improve this Manchester United team in January or next summer? Because right now I'm not entirely sure I'd give him £100 for Baleba. Never mind 100 million.
Yeah, I don't know what that performance was, honestly. It's like I don't know what was going through his head. There was that when he took a shot, I don't know, like from so far out, and it like I don't know if it hit Paul probably.
It landed here about 3.5 hours
Yeah.
later.
Probably, yeah. Paul like headed it out like when he was in the crowd. But yeah, that was insane, honestly. Like I don't know what's going to. I mean, it doesn't bode well that his level drops that much just because of some rumors that were going on during the summer.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen if he actually comes to United and like the pressure is like 100 times more?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't pay. I would pay like 35 million pounds max. But I still take him, honestly. I think there's a player in there, and he's still young. Like we shouldn't forget he's 20 or 21.
It's time for another edition of the Fergie's Gum Hall of Fame. I think we need a better name for it, though. I think it's a bit dry, that. I think we need a new name and a bit of audio that goes into it, but I'll sort that out at another time. The first inductee into the Fergie's Gum Hall of Fame was Eric Cantona. We did that last month, and we're going to do one every month. The last podcast of every month, we're going to celebrate one of the heroes from Manchester United, past and present, although probably mostly past. I'm not sure any of the present players get in. But hot on the heels of Eric Cantona is a player that has played he had played 480 games for Manchester United, 51 goals. He once was the British transfer record at 3.75 million from Nottingham Forest. And he actually, coincidentally, took over the captain's armband from our last Hall of Fame inductee, Eric Cantona, when he retired in 1997. It is, of course, Roy Keane, who deservedly, I would say, goes into this. Have we got anyone that says that he shouldn't go in here? That's the first thing. Anyone here?
No
Anyone
chance.
here? No? Shaking their heads? No.
No
Right,
chance.
okay. That's good. That's good. So there's obvious reasons why we wanted him to go in there. I think he's much more than what current day hindsight is giving him. Everyone thinks about the Haaland tackle, tough tackling, bit of a gobby fella, and obviously the memes that come from Sky Sports now, where's the pundit, it's his job and all that lot. But I think he was much more of a player than people let on. And I was listening to Tim Sherwood on The Good, the Bad and the Football this morning, actually. And he was talking about how he was trying to get into Keano's head when he was playing for Blackburn. He was trying to get into Keano's head, like giving him a bit of lip. And he just stared straight through him. And it was just like, all right, I literally can't get inside this person's head. And I think that type of mentality was present throughout his career. But just from a personal point of view, my favourite game that Keane played in, apart from offering out Paddy Vieira at Highbury that time, was the Juventus game when United needed to win. It was 1-1 in the Champions League in 1999. They needed to win that game. he led by example. I still remember him scoring that header, and he was just like, get the ball, run back to the halfway line, no messing about. He got bugged 9 minutes later, which meant that he actually missed the 99 final, which was awful. But he led by example. He's still going into tackles. He was still driving people on, still making the passes, still running up and down the pitch. And yeah, just one of my favourite players of all time. So I'll dip to you, Paul, because obviously me and you was the ones that kind of talked about Roy Keane in the first place to be in this Hall of Fame. What is it about him that makes him so special for you?
I put down a few keywords. I think the first one that I put down was standards. He set the standards for the whole club. You had Fergie obviously running the show behind the scenes, but the changing room has to be run by the players, and he set the standards probably on the training pitch and in the changing rooms. He's like you say, he's a leader, led by example, and he wasn't asking anybody to do anything that he wouldn't do. He'd run through brick walls to win a game of football. He put himself at risk, injury-wise, just to win a game of football. You don't see it you don't see that mentality anymore in life in general, but in football, it's very rare. It's not a surprise when people talk about Premier League teams of the decade ever that the centre midfield is Roy Keane. It's normally Roy Keane or Patrick Vieira or Gerrard, but the majority of people go with Roy Keane just because of his leadership qualities. Character, that he was just full of it, wasn't he? He was just full of all this character. One of the Mike, you talked about the favourite games there. Juventus was the obvious one. Highbury was another one. But one of the best stories of Roy Keane, when I talk about standards, is Rio Ferdinand tells it when he came from Leeds and he was in training, and Rio Ferdinand does a sideways pass, and Roy Keane says, "That won't wash here. You pass forward. We expect better for however how much money you've come from." That's the kind of standards that you need to stay at the top level. Like you say, British transfer record, which is something that United did. He came when he was 21, which he was a young lad, but he was an animal then, and he was a box-to-box midfielder. His qualities, like you say, don't get spoken about enough. His passing was up there with some of the best. I mean, you talk about Pirlo being able to pass the ball, the likes of Seedorf being able to pass the ball. Roy Keane was as good as them passing a ball. It might not have been as flashy, the passing, but it was effective. He could spray it 30 yards. He's dipped balls into forwards, and he expected them to control it. And if you didn't control that ball, Roy Keane would give you the stare. And so he put fear into players of, no, this is where we are. We're United. We're top of our game. If you're not good enough, I'm going to tell you you're not good enough. That's what I loved. He'd call people out on the pitch. If you were in a team and you had him in your team, you knew he had your back as well. Brilliant player. Absolutely brilliant. Yep.
I think one of the things that you kind of forget from that 99 semi-final against Juventus as well, that he was up against, I think, hang on one second, I made a note of it. He was up against Zidane. He was up against, who else was it? Davids, Deschamps. Just players that were at their peak at the time as well. They're really, really good players. And I know Inzaghi got 2 goals that night, but he kept those guys quiet just by leading by example. And I think you're right. It's one of those games that will live long in the memory, obviously. But what memories do you have of him, Ahmad? Because obviously you're a little bit younger than me and Paul, but I'm sure you've got lots of strong memories of Roy Keane because you've been a Manchester United fan all your life.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like you said, I haven't actually watched any games for him because when I started watching United, he'd already have left. But of course, I've seen
Hang on one second. How old was you in 1999, Ahmad?
2 years.
We're old, Nathan. We're old.
Yeah, I know.
I
I was in the pub. I was in the pub watching that game.
But you guys are lucky. Like you actually experienced all that success, firsthand. Unfortunately, I only caught like 5-6 years of all the success we've had. But no, like I don't think you can be a United fan without actually digging deep into everything he was doing for the club. I know everything about him. He was he epitomized what he was Fergie but on the pitch, and that's I think that's more than enough to say. Like he was Fergie on the pitch. The resilience, the stubbornness, I don't know, just the hunger, and United wouldn't have won that many titles in that space of time without him being like that. Uh, I think Paul touched on the game against Arsenal in 1999. It was actually the season after we won the treble, so it was August. So it was one of the first games
Yeah.
of the season, and it was at Highbury, and Arsenal were on a very long unbeaten run. It's very easy for a player and the club and the team to have that I don't know, just to let go after winning the treble, after being on such a high. But first, I think it was one of the first games of the season, and he went in, going into every tackle, showing his teammates like what they have to do. He scored 2 goals, just dominated the whole game. I mean, as a player in that team, looking at your captain doing that, there's no chance you're not gonna put in that much effort as well. And that's why we won all the titles we've had, because like season after season, win after win, league after league, he was always, every single time he wants more, and he showed it. He's amazing, honestly. Like Paul said, and you said also, you touched on it, that he was technically much better than what people give him credit for, because he just could do everything. He could do everything. He controlling the ball, passing the ball, even running with the ball. Like he used to carry the ball
Yeah.
up the pitch, which is, he used to do everything. Like you're never gonna find anyone like him. And the people who don't put him in their like all time Premier League 11, I don't know what they've never watched them. That's all I say.
I think that's correct as well. I think there's a lot of young people that like hear about Roy Keane, and the association is immediately Erling Haaland. So, oh yeah, he kicked Erling Haaland's dad. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of thing that they believe in now. But it was interesting, Ethan. I was listening to, again, Paul Scholes on the Good, the Bad, and the Football, and he was saying that it's weird these days that we talk about who's a 6 and who's an 8. Roy Keane was both. Brian Robson was both. It wasn't a case of like you have to do defending, or you have to be able to attack. You were a complete midfielder, and I think Roy Keane was probably one of the last that we've had at Manchester United that could do both, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's, some of the things that, when you look at Roy Keane, the things that, come to mind is, mentality and, leadership. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, for me, with Roy Keane, a lot of people just look at, like like you're saying, the tackling and, the physicality of it. But, people don't really, how do I put it? People don't really look at like the leadership. There's the incident with Patrick Vieira, also captaining a team with, 7 Premier Leagues, 4 FA Cups, Champions Leagues as well, a treble winning team. And, like some of the quotes you hear from, Paul Scholes, where he talks about how Roy Keane was willing to do the dirty work in midfield. If it's a matter of going back to defend, he was willing to go back and defend. He was going up the pitch, he was willing to go up the pitch. Even, I was listening to Rio Ferdinand talk about him, and he was talking about how brave Roy Keane was. And I think you touched on about it a little bit about it, where he's not just like a lot of these days we have leaders on the pitch, that will tell you, okay, let's do this. But he's willing to go back and do it himself and show the team like, this is what we need to do. So for me, it's, the leadership, his mentality, when you hear him speak, now he's a pundit. When you hear him speak, it's about, with him, there's no mediocrity, there's no mediocrity, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think for me, that's some of the things that, just come to mind, talking about Roy Keane, yeah.
I think the big thing was what you said there, Paul, when you was talking about the fact that he set the standards, and he wouldn't tell you to do something that he couldn't do or wouldn't try to do. And I think that was the main thing. And when we talk about leaders on the pitch at Manchester United now, and obviously fans of a certain age, I'm guessing me and Paul are in this bracket, but you look at someone like Bruno, who's a great player, he's he's played 300. Is it 300 games for Manchester United now? I think that was at the weekend. He's
Mhm.
done 300
That's right.
games for Manchester United. He's the captain, but he's a completely different captain to what we experienced when we was watching Roy Keane on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? He was there dragging the team along. It was only possible for them to win sometimes through his pure will, just dragging the team, going, right, everyone up, everyone do this. If you're not pulling your weight, then those people are getting blasted. But they wouldn't just sulk, they would get into it. Because if they didn't, they knew you got to go back in that changing room. You got to see him on the training ground. You got to see him in the stadium. You got to see him all the time. And if it's not him, it's Fergie. Like, there's no escape from it. Either you pull yourself up to those standards or you get out of the club. And I think there's a lot of players that played alongside Roy Keane in certain squads that were just like, we're going to melt in front of this. But he did his best to even keep the younger players coming through. You hear a lot of the younger players talk about when they were coming through, class of 99 as well, 92, sorry, that, they were talking about coming through in the squad, how much Roy Keane was helping them. Not in a, oh yeah, come on, here you go, do this. In that brutal, get this done, and that's how you survive at Manchester United. And that's how, obviously they had decent careers out of it as well. But I think just the final word on this, unless anyone else has got something to say about him. Well, in fact, let me ask you all one question here. Roy Keane, we just said about him being a complete midfielder, right? Not a 6, not an 8, complete midfielder. In this day and age, 2025, I'll go with you first, Paul. How much is Roy Keane worth?
Well, if Florian Wirtz is worth 130 million, you double it, don't you? He would be the best midfielder in the world by far right now, because the standards are nowhere near Roy Keane. So he'd be priceless. Let's put it that way.
But if you was going to put, so you're saying, because I actually want to figure here, 230 mil. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But yeah, if you've got Isak and Wirtz are worth over 100 million, you're talking 250 million for Roy Keane. 21-year-old Roy Keane see, you get him for 15 years. The best midfielder in the world, can do everything. Wow. Yeah. 250 million.
Ethan, what are you saying?
I completely agree with Paul. Paul. I don't know. I was
250? 250 then?
I think just circle around to 300.
Well, yeah.
Just round it, get it rounded up. Do you know what? I'm not even disagreeing. I'm not even disagreeing.
If the Baleba I saw at weekend was worth 100 million, well then you might as well call it 500 million. that's the price.
Ahmad, I'll go with you. You can have the last word on this. How much is Roy Keane worth in today's day? In today's prices?
The players, like in today's time, I'm not saying he's even close to Roy Keane's level, but the player that can do everything, in my opinion, is Declan Rice. Like he's a player I can compare him slightly to. And he went for 105 million pounds. And if you go back to that 2 or 3 years ago and you asked any other club to pay 150 after seeing how he's been the past 3 years, they would have paid it. So if Declan Rice is worth that, I think Roy Keane is worth, like, I would say realistically, I think 180. Like, I'm being realistic, but 180, yeah, you would pay that for.
I would say, and I know I said you'd have the last word, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's nothing you can do about it. But I'm going to say if he was still playing now and still in his prime, he'd be the first £200 million player easily. If anyone was to come in, Real Madrid would break the bank for him. He wouldn't go to somewhere like PSG. He'd go to a big club. Real Madrid would do anything and everything, move heaven and earth for him, and I think they'd get him for 200 million. So anyway, welcome number 2 to Fergie's Gum Hall of Fame. But he'll always be number 1. Roy Keane, everyone. Roy Keane. 3 p.m. Saturday. I don't know what date it is, but that's the next game. Nottingham Forest, Manchester United. Another tough test against Sean Dyche's men. I think, for me, I would have been a bit more scared about this fixture had it have been this time last year. But I think United are equipped, and I might be wrong, they might get battered on Saturday, but I think they're more equipped now to deal with a physical Nottingham Forest side than they were last season. What do you think of that, Ahmad?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm a bit worried about this game because whenever we start like being optimistic and like feeling we can deal with anything, I don't know. Just they find a way to bring us back down. But yeah, I just hope we win. We really need this win. And Forest, the thing with Forest, if we were playing them like 2-3 weeks ago, I would have said that it's an easy win. But now with Sean Dyche, I don't know how it's gonna be. It's his first game in the Prem. First home game in the Prem. Like
No, yeah,
for
first home game, yeah.
first
Yeah.
home game. Yeah. So yeah, usually we always seem to face managers like and we get the new manager bounce on our heads for some reason. But I don't know. Like we have to win this game no matter. I don't care how, but we just have to do it.
I watched them against Bournemouth and I thought they were rubbish. I know they've
Yeah.
still got the hangover of Ange Postecoglou looming over them. Sorry. I know they've got him, like, you know, the ghost of Postecoglou is still very much at Nottingham Forest, but I didn't fancy them at all. And I know what you're saying, Ahmad. I agree with you. United we haven't been consistent for a long time, so you're right to approach this game in a, you know, we could still lose this. And I think, Paul, you mentioned this previously before about the ups and downs of United. Is it going to be an up or a down this week at the county ground?
This is the beauty of watching United at the minute, isn't it? We've no idea. We don't know how it's going to go. It's a tough game, isn't it? I'm just looking at the form there, and going off form, obviously it should be a Manchester United win, but we're not sure. I don't think any other opposition will be confident in playing against Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko at the minute. I think they'll be nervous about that. It's like, say, a home game, because Dyche will have them more organised. He'll completely change the way that they've been playing. Like you say, if it was still Ange, we'd fancy getting us attacking them on the counter attack. But I do also think that is probably how we'll set up the similar way that we did at Anfield. I don't think we'll be looking to dominate the ball. I think we'll be looking to go long. Whether that'll play into Forest hands, I'm not sure, because they won't be scared of the long ball, especially the centre halves. I'm quietly confident though, Nathan, with the way that we played at weekend. I think it's coming along. I think the players are probably more confident as well in the system. It's becoming more adaptable. We look dangerous. We look like we've got goals in us, which is massive. If you can score goals in the Premier League, you've got more chance of winning games, obviously. But yeah, let's see how we go. Let's hope to build on it.
He's been doing it all season, Ruben Amorim. He's been tweaking that back line. Do you think, Ethan, that he will change it again? He started with Yoro, De Ligt and Shaw at the weekend, and I think Harry Maguire was injured because he was out of the squad completely. But if Harry Maguire's fit, do you see him coming straight back into this side?
Possibly, but I would prefer that we use Euro and De Ligt and Shaw. I think they're building up a good partnership, you know, and just having that bit of pace from Euro, I think, is really important. I think with Forest, I mean, I was watching the game from last season, and you know, if you look at our goals, they're a bit dodgy. You know, set piece goal, and Onana, the ball hits straight at him, and he just lets it in. So
Yeah.
I think now with you know, like, I think one big problem we had last season was the defenders didn't feel safe with having Onana behind, and just having that what can I say, that cover, and you know, trust in the keeper will allow, even, you know, how we played the last game, you know, being able to press from the front. I think we'll be able to do that. But with Sean Dyche, and as someone mentioned, you know, a new manager bounce, it's it's very
I think they're still waiting for the bounce because obviously they lost against Bournemouth. They won his first game. Was it Porto they beat, actually? Was it Porto they
Yeah,
beat
it was, yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Europa League, which is it's a great scout for Sean Dyche, but none of the European teams are expecting to play against gravel-throated Sean Dyche's industrial brand of football. Whereas Manchester United have had a very, they've seen this at Burnley, they've seen it at other teams that he's been manager of. Everton, was he at Everton? He was, wasn't he?
Yep.
So there will be a kind of, there will be an expectation of how he's going to set up, and there will be an understanding of what Manchester United will need to do. I don't think the squad, I might be wrong, but I think aiming for the same team as they put out against Brighton is probably the best way forward for this. I think Maguire, there's question marks over his fitness, but even if he was fit, I don't think he should come straight back into the team, especially if he's not going to be the future of Manchester United. I know that sounds crass, but if you've got Yoro, De Ligt, and even Shaw, if you've got those fit, I think you just stick with them because they understand each other and they know what they need to do in the game, and I think they'll be able to deal with the aerial threat. I think Chris Wood's has he been out? He's not been as prolific this season. They've been playing that Igor Jesus or Jesus, however you want to pronounce it. But I think United should set up exactly the same as they did at the weekend. I think we're looking at, I know this might sound a bit fanciful, but I think Ruben Amorim's looking at his best 11 now, and I think that might have been it that he played on Saturday. Does anyone disagree with that? Ahmad, are you believing that might be his best first 11 right now?
My only concern is left wing back. Because, Dallo and, of course, Dallo and...
It doesn't matter where he plays. Whatever position it is that you mentioned, I know it's Diogo Dallo that's filling it. That's it.
No, but like it's not, but even Dorgu, he hasn't been like lighting up the place. So that's the thing. I don't mind Dallo there recently, like against Liverpool. Yeah, he attacking, he's not the best, but defensively he dealt with Salah. Dorgu is not up to standard, so that's my only concern. I don't know who starts, but otherwise, yeah, you leave it the same. Maguire, I don't think he should come in because they're not playing Chris Wood. If Chris Wood was on form and he was starting, I would play Maguire, but I think you're better off starting Euro to deal with Jesus, I think his name is, the striker. So yeah, like otherwise, everyone's on form. I wouldn't bring in Mount. I would keep Sesko playing. So yeah, otherwise I'd keep all the same.
Paul, there will be another English midfielder or Premier League midfielder that will be putting himself in the shop window when we take on Nottingham Forest this weekend. Elliot Anderson will get a chance to show what he can do. I mean, we're probably expecting something slightly better than what Carlos Baleba did in terms of auditioning. Is he a player that you can see playing in this Manchester United team next season?
Yeah, he looks very good. Look very good for England as well. I'm not convinced with the amounts that are being spoken about, 100 million still, which is what Forest seem to command in. After rumours this week that Real Madrid were also interested in him. I've not seen a standout performance from him though. Do you know what I mean? I've not seen a game where I go, wow, that he seems like a steady Eddie, if you like. It's very disrespectful, sorry. But he does the thing, the simple things right, doesn't he? And you need players like that to keep the ball ticking over. He'll come and ask for the ball, and he will do it. But when you talk about the Baleba and Anderson and Wharton and players like that, I have seen Wharton dominate games and look world class, if you like. I've never seen Anderson look absolutely world class. So it'd be, like you say, it'd be interesting to see how he gets on against this United team. Which way, when you mentioned the team, then I was thinking about Casemiro. So that battle with Anderson and Casemiro will be it'd be good to see. It'd be interesting because Casemiro at the minute, he's playing probably his best football in the past 12 months. He's looking like he's looking a lot more comfortable in there, and it'll be a worry if he gets injured, if he wasn't in there, because I don't think there's enough to come in there and do the job that he's doing. We know his legs have gone. But what he's doing is the job that Anderson would be doing for United. keeping the ball ticking over, winning it back and giving it. And it should be a good battle at weekend, especially in that centre midfield, because I think they've got a couple of good midfielders in there for us. I love Gibbs White. I think he's a very good player. And Anderson in there as well. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy game, but let's see how we get on.
Right, Ethan's had to dash, but we'll do you two guys. What do you think the score is going to be? Paul, Nottingham Forest, Manchester United. What's the score, mate?
I'm going to go 3-1. I think we'll concede. I do think we've got enough in us to score goals, though. Very excited for the forward line. 3-1.
3-1. Paul, Ahmad?
I'm gonna go for 2-1 United. Hopefully, just scrape through. But again, like I don't see the team keeping a clean sheet, unfortunately. But there's goals in the team, so yeah, 2-1 would be amazing.
I'm going Desmond 2-2.
Okay.
2-2 for it. FPL pick. I mean, it's obvious who I'm picking. I'm just going to say it, Brian Mbeumo. He's been consistent for me, so I'm keeping him in. What about you, Paul?
Cunha for me, he's been my captain all the way through, and I'm just going to stay loyal. What a player!
You did well to pick him as captain, because I had Haaland, and he basically. I tell you what I'll do. Every time it looks like a player's having a really good run, I'm going to put them into my FPL team, because I guarantee you they won't score a single point after that. Okay, so you got Cunha, Ahmad.
I'll stick with Bruno. I think like an FPL here always seems to get the bonus points, DEFCON, and I think he should have. I had him in my team. Like this was the first week I had him. Should have gotten an assist for that dummy. But yeah,
he should have done. I think we should argue about it. I think we should get in touch with the FPL to try and get that on there, because that was unreal. But anyway, okay. So we think United won't lose. I think that's the collective idea there. United will not lose against Nottingham Forest. Click this up. Famous last words. Right, open it up, Paul. Get that Gunners mailbag open. Let's see what we got inside.
Okay, got a few here from the lads. Dan says, this is, I should probably give you a little bit of time for this one, but I'm not doing so now. Do you have a player who was objectively bad, but you like them anyway?
Oh, that is a very good question. And I do have an answer, which is, well, quite present actually, because Chris, my mate from Dubai Eye, he is not having him at all. But I think Patrick Dorgu still has some potential in him, and I think he'll come good. But I don't think many people agree with me. He's got something about him that I'm just like, it will work eventually. Whether he'll start for Manchester United all the time, I don't know. But I think he will be useful for Manchester United moving forward. So I'm going to go with Paddy Dorgu. What about you, Ahmad?
From the current squads, I'm gonna say Xerxes. I love Xerxes, honestly. I think it's unfortunate that he's not getting enough minutes. People are getting again, like the question was saying, he's objectively bad because people just don't think he has it to make it at United. But I do think he has something in there. Even when he came on against Brighton, he looked good on although he was at fault for the corner. But I think he's just rusty, hasn't he? I think he only came on against Brentford for a bit, and maybe this is the first time he came on again.
But he's not had many minutes at all.
Yeah, there's a player in there. Honestly, he's so good. But I think if he should go to another club, because he's gonna if the system fits him there, he's gonna show how good he is, because he's so talented. So yeah, Xerxes for me.
Fair.
Anybody from the past squads? Anybody from past squads you can think of?
Past squads, objectively bad from past squads.
Should I tell you mine first? And then
go on.
Well, I'll tell you Dan's, who gave us a question. He chose Fred. He gave Fred as his example.
I don't know about objectively bad. I think he was.
Yeah.
I think he was decent.
Do you really?
Well, so maybe that's my answer as well.
Well, the person who first came to my mind, who's obviously, you're going to say, if you thought Fred was good, you're going to think this lad was better. It was Antonio Valencia who first came to my mind, who was objectively someone who was
like rough.
No way.
Yeah,
That
well,
is
my
rough.
standards are high. My standards are high. But he
No,
was
there's no way
obviously
that he's not.
No way.
There's no way
Well,
that he's objectively bad.
objectively. Was he? Yeah, he was a good squad player on some levels, but I loved him. I loved his effort. I think a lot of United players did because he was a battler, wasn't he? And then when he went to right, he did a job at right back for us as well. That was just the first player that came to our mind. Fred's probably a better example of objectively bad, if you like, but still like.
But-
we just like players that work hard, don't we? The battlers. That's what
Yeah.
we like. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure about Antonio Valencia, but
Yeah.
I can't change your opinion. That's the thing. That's your opinion. Right. Okay. What's the next one?
Next one is Dino. This is relates to something you mentioned earlier. After Bruno's 300th game, where does he sit in the history of Manchester United players? Does he make it into any of Fergie's teams?
Oh no, he doesn't. I don't think he makes it into a single team. No, I think he's a
No.
different type of player for a different era. I think he'd be chewed out pretty quickly at Manchester United with Scholes, Beckham, Keane, any of those midfielders that were around him. The one player that I think he might have, or the one squad that I think he might have got into, was obviously Fergie's last one, when he was when he had like Carrick in there, and he was like he needed a bit more creativity. Do you remember that time when he got Scholes to come out of retirement?
Yes.
Remember when he like begged him to come out? Well, not begged him, but just gave him his number back and got him back on the pitch. I think that's probably the only time that Fergie would have considered putting Bruno in there. In terms of where he stands in like United folklore, I don't think you can say that he's been a bad servant for Manchester United. I think he's been our best signing in the last 10 years. So I think that's, like, you can look at the players that we've got now. We haven't seen enough body of work from Cunha, from Mbeumo. They may go on to be much better players for Manchester United and contribute more and win more silverware. But I think Bruno, in the last 10 years, he's single-handedly just like, he's won us games. He's just done a really good job of it. So I think he's got to be up there. He's got to be up there.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, like I think it's harsh. I think he would have definitely 100% gotten into Fergie's post 2010 team. Like after Cristiano left, I think Bruno would have definitely been a player there. I think he would have also gotten into the team like early 2000s. Honestly, to be like 2002, like with Rude. Scholes was playing in the 10. He also tried like getting Veron, changing the system, but it didn't work out. But I think he would have gotten. He would definitely have had a place. I think Bruno, he's not, until now, I don't think he's appreciated enough. I was of the opinion that we should have taken the money for him in the summer, but that's only because I don't think we're gonna get another offer for like that, and we're in a rebuild phase. And for him personally, he's done so much for us, and I want him to go on to win things. I don't think he gets appreciated enough, because like once he leaves, we're gonna start like looking back and saying, yeah, honestly, what he was doing was insane. He's never injured. He plays every single minute. He does everything on the ball. The numbers he puts out, the assists, the goals, the even the penalties. Like, it's not easy for him to, his penalty record. I know it's penalties, but he always comes up clutch when we need him. And yeah, he does everything. Yeah.
I think there's two questions there. It's about whether or not Bruno, where he stands in terms of like legends at the club, and then whether he would get into a Fergie team. I think those are two separate things, because I think in terms of what he's contributed to Manchester United is undeniable. Like, he's been superb. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I think, again, Bruno has been a victim of playing in such bad teams. Like, if he was if he was playing in the areas with Rooney, with Cristiano, with Tevez, with Giggs, with Scholes, and he would have had those experiences, like talking to those players, watching them train, watching them the quality they had, he would have been way better than what he is now. Now he's having to deal with so many issues, like, and with so much pressure. It's all on him. So I think 100% if he was playing in that time, he would have been much better than what he is now, and he would have definitely been in the list for like United legends. For me personally, now
That's
he is a legend. I'm gonna say
that's a fair point actually. I take that on board. I think he has been playing in absolutely dreadful sides. So yeah, I'm with you. You swayed me. I think he probably would have got into a Manchester United team, Fergie team. Paul, do you think he should? Do you think he would?
I completely agree with Ahmad there. Yeah, I was of the opinion of maybe not. He maybe sneaking the back door of a United squad. But when you think about, like you say, better players, playing with better players would have only made him better, wouldn't they? So for him to stand out as our best player in this toughest period that we've had, and for him to still perform to the level that he has, you have to give him credit. Not many players get to play 300 games for Manchester United, do they?
Yeah,
So,
very true.
hopefully, with the players that are with him now, we can see the true potential of what Bruno can do. But unfortunately, he's playing in a position that doesn't quite suit him. That's another thing with Bruno. He will do anything for the team, won't he? He's another one. We can say what we want about him flailing his arms around when he's not happy or anything like that. That's the way he is. But I don't think his quality as a footballer can be questioned. Class player, you know. Yep.
Okay, last question then. Got one
Last
more.
question is Kevin. Oh, is another thing we kind of touched on. Do any of the subs that came on against Brighton have a future at the club under Amorim?
That's a good one. Ahmad, I'm going to go to you first for that.
I mean, the easiest one is Aiden Heaven, probably, because like he definitely has a place in the squad. But the other ones, I would hope that Kobe has a future at the club. I still think he will. I still think like next season, Bruno and Casemiro are gonna leave probably, and he's gonna have a place on the team. But he has to step up. Kobe, unfortunately, he has to step up when he comes on. I know it's unfair to expect so much, and like he's getting limited minutes, but this is how football is. So you have to take your chance when you can. Other than Kobe, Ugarte maybe as a squad player. Xerxes, I think he's better off going somewhere else. I can't remember anyone else, but yeah, of those, I think just Heaven is 100%.
Poor
Yeah, the
Patrick,
main one.
poor Patrick Dorgu. I can't
Patrick
remember anyone
Dorgu,
else.
yeah.
I think that's a good question. I think more than anything now, sentimentality is the thing that's keeping Kobe Mainoo at Manchester United. Because as you say, like, you know, it's a bad situation that he's in where he's not getting minutes. And, you know, he was in the England team not so long ago, and now he's like, you know, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. So I kind of think that he's probably not showing enough in training, clearly. And he can't dislodge Bruno, we talked about before. He's never injured. So I think he's just, as you say, he's got to come on and he's got to have a stormer. Like if he came on at Forest and like he came on the last 20 minutes and we was down 1-0 and we won 3-0 and he scored 2 of the goals and assisted the other, I think he probably would be in the team next week. But I think he needs to do something spectacular to get himself back in there. Of the rest, I don't know. To be honest, I think all of those, you could quite easily see them leaving next season. You could easily see them like sitting on the bench and being squad players until someone better comes along. But yeah, so it's a good question. I don't think they take you to another level, put it that way. What about you, Paul?
No, yeah, I think like as I mentioned earlier, I thought the drop off was noticeable. I like Aiden Heaven. I think he will slot in there, and I think that left-sided of the back three suits him down to a T. I think he's got the potential to be a United starter for the years. Kobe Mainoo gets, I don't know if you could tell him that the ovation he gets every time he comes on.
Yeah.
He's massive.
But this is what I was saying about this. This is what I was saying about the sentimentality, because he's not showing anything on the pitch that suggests that he should be in the starting lineup. He's a homegrown Manchester lad that we want to see playing week in, week out, and that's not based on football skill. That's based on the romantic side of football, which we all love. You know, that's the reason why we love Manchester United. But it has to be more. he has to do more.
Agreed. Yeah. In training and in games, he could also do with a starting a game just to see where he's at, to see if he has learned or kicked on.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, the others, no. I don't see Ugarte. I don't see Xerxes. I don't. Dorgu possibly as cover, but that, like as Ahmad mentioned earlier, that left wing back is a position we could massively upgrade. On a note, do you think Mazraoui could upgrade that position?
Only in right wing back. I don't think he plays
Not on the
very
left,
well on the
no.
left. No.
Yeah,
He's probably a better option than Dallo, but I
Even-
just don't think he's.
Even right
offering
wing back,
much.
I think he's not that good, honestly. I'd play him at his best position is right centre back. Why not?
Yeah.
in one of the back three.
Yeah, definitely.
Right then,
Fair
there we go. Thanks again for joining us, Mr. Paul Cropper, Mr. Ahmad Doher, and Ethan,
More than
who
welcome.
was ditched us. He's pressed the button again. It's because he knows that the podcast is almost over. He wants to say something. I'm just going to ignore it this time.
Just childish.
'cause
Just childish.
What I do want to do is direct you all listeners to, because I couldn't be bothered writing it down every single week, what our handles were for all of the different outlets that we're on, the social media channels. So what I've done is I've created fergiesgumpodcast.com. That is fergiesgumpodcast.com, where you can follow us on social media. You can subscribe to the newsletter, the free newsletter that's out every week, or you can subscribe to this podcast, or you can just click wherever you're listening to it right now. Always thought that's a weird one. Someone listening to a podcast and then telling them to subscribe to it is weird. Surely you are subscribed. Anyway, so that is there, fergiesgumpodcast.com. Go there. All of our links are there, and you can follow us and see our faces maybe, because you can't right now if you're listening to us. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you again after the Nottingham Forest game.